This waiter has been inattentive, slow, and frankly, unpleasant. I'm not paying for this kind of service, brother.
The glass clinked once, sharp enough to cut through the room. "Excuse me," the rich diner said. Without looking up, "I asked for sparkling. This is flat." The waiter stood beside the table, still as a curtain in a quiet storm. What he didn't know was that the person he was humiliating had signed the lease on this very place.
Before we continue, tell us where you are watching from in the comments. We would like to know how far these videos go. And if stories like this matter to you, stay with me, like this video, and subscribe to Black Justice so more people can hear these powerful lessons. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. Now back to the story.
His name was Caleb Nyambe, a black man in his early 40s, tall, 6 feet 2 inches, athletic build, deep brown skin, close-cropped black hair, neat trimmed beard, steady dark brown eyes, wearing a crisp white waiter shirt with black apron, polished black shoes, and a calm, dignified posture. A small scar sat just above his right eyebrow, faint but visible under the warm dining lights. The diner leaned back like the chair belonged to him. He was Gordon Vale, a white man in his late 50s, average height 5 feet 10 inches, stocky build, light skin, thinning silver hair slicked back, clean-shaven, wearing a tailored navy blazer over a pale shirt, an expensive watch catching the light, mouth set in a permanent look of disappointment. Caleb took the glass gently. "I can replace it right away," he said. Gordon gave a thin smile. "No, you can learn to listen right away." The table went quiet. Across from Gordon sat his guest, a younger colleague who kept glancing toward the door as if hoping the moment would end on its own. At nearby tables, forks slowed. Conversations thinned. Caleb nodded once, understood. He turned toward the service station, and Gordon's voice followed him like a hand on the back of his neck. "And don't take your time," Gordon added. "Some of us have places to be." Each word made the room smaller. Caleb returned with a fresh bottle, poured carefully, and placed it down. His movements were precise, controlled, quiet. Gordon lifted the glass, sniffed like it was a test. "Finally," he said, loud enough for others to hear. Basic competence. Caleb didn't react. "Would you like to order?" he asked. Gordon flipped the menu closed without reading. "I don't need a menu. I need a waiter who understands quality." Caleb waited, patient. Gordon tapped the table twice. "You know," he said, "some people should stay in the back. It suits them." The silence did more damage than the insult. Caleb's eyes didn't harden. They didn't drop either. "I'll give you a moment," he said, and stepped away. At the host's stand, the manager watched from a distance. Mara Whitfield, a white woman in her early 40s, average height 5 feet 7 inches, slim build, fair skin, straight blonde hair cut into a neat bob, sharp antenna blue eyes, wearing a black blazer over a charcoal dress, holding a reservation tablet, professional and alert. Mara had been observing since the glass clinked. A server passed her, whispered something. Mara's jaw tightened, but she didn't move quickly. She moved correctly. Caleb returned to Gordon's table, calm as before. "Are you ready to order?" he asked. Gordon looked up, irritated. "I'm ready for someone else to take my order." Caleb nodded. "I can call the manager." "Do that," Gordon said. Immediately, Caleb turned and walked toward Mara. He didn't look hurried. He looked certain. Mara approached the table with her professional smile. "Good evening," she said. "I'm Mara, the manager. How can I help?" Gordon straightened, relieved to perform. "This waiter," he said, pointing at Caleb without looking at him, "has been inattentive, slow, and frankly unpleasant. I'm not paying for this kind of service." Mara glanced at Caleb. "Caleb?" she asked softly. Caleb spoke with measured calm. "He's unhappy with the water, the pace, and my presence," he said. Gordon scoffed. "Don't twist it. I'm unhappy with poor standards." Mara nodded once, then said something Gordon didn't expect. "Mr. Vale," she said, "before we go further, can I confirm something?" Gordon smirked. "Confirm whatever you need." Mara turned slightly toward the bar, where a framed photograph hung, a ribbon-cutting image, softly lit, elegant. In the center stood Caleb, smiling gently, holding oversized keys. Beneath the photo was a small plaque. "Founder, Caleb Nyambe. Gordon's eyes followed her gesture. He stared, then stared again. That's a coincidence, he said. Caleb stepped forward, not to intimidate, but to clarify. It isn't, he said. I own this restaurant, and the two sister locations across town. Gordon's mouth opened, then closed. The younger colleague looked down at his napkin, like it suddenly mattered. Mara placed a folder on the edge of the table, not as a threat, but as documentation. Business registration. Franchise documents. A letterhead that carried Caleb's name. Gordon's voice dropped. You're dressed like staff. Caleb nodded. I work here, he said, sometimes quietly, so I can see what our guests and our team experience when titles are invisible. Gordon tried to smile, but fell apart halfway. I didn't know. Caleb held his gaze. That's the point. The room stayed silent, listening. Mara spoke calmly. Mr. Vale, we take service concerns seriously, but we also take dignity seriously. Our staff deserve respect. Always. Gordon swallowed. I may have been harsh. Caleb didn't raise his voice. He raised the truth. You weren't harsh, he said. You were comfortable. Mara's tone remained procedural. Tonight's meal will not be served. We're going to end the reservation here. Gordon blinked. You're kicking me out? Caleb nodded gently. Yes, he said. Not for the complaint. For the contempt. Gordon stood slowly, the expensive watch suddenly useless. This is unbelievable. Caleb stepped back to give him space to leave with what was left of his pride. Mara gestured toward the exit, polite and firm. Gordon walked out, his shoes louder than they needed to be. The room breathed again. Conversations restarted in soft waves. The younger colleague remained for a moment, eyes lowered. I'm sorry, he whispered, not to the room, but to Caleb. Caleb nodded once. Carry it forward, he said. That's how change starts. Caleb returned to the dining floor, not as a victor, but as a man who protected the standard that mattered most. Respect costs nothing, but means everything.
If this story touched your heart and reminded you that respect should never depend on appearances, race, or color, take a moment to subscribe. Your support helps us share more Black justice stories that inspire change, spark awareness, and remind the world what dignity truly looks like. Like and share this video and leave a comment. Your voice helps bring these stories to life and keeps the message alive. Is here. Your voice matters here.